what I wish I knew before I became a mom. What nobody told me and what I did not see coming, that's what I'm going to share today. So if you just became a new mom or you're about to become a new mom, I think these 3 things are really going to be helpful to you. So the first thing I would say is that if motherhood is painful or hard, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. In fact, it might mean that you're doing something right. I think there's this idea in our culture that like comfort and ease means you're doing something right, when honestly, I feel like we learn the most sometimes through pain and discomfort. I think it means that things are changing and growing and that we're transforming in a way. And so I think that when we embrace that pain and we surrender to it a little bit, that there can be this transformation and it can be really beautiful. I think I sat in this tension for so many years where I'm like, this is so hard. I literally must be doing something wrong. Like, this is too hard. And so if I could just figure out that system, if I could just figure out the right habit stack, if I could just figure out the right morning routine or evening routine, then life would be so much easier. Motherhood would be so much better, so much easier. And while I think habits are important, schedules can be helpful, all those things, I love all those things. In fact, I teach those things here on Girl Teach Me on YouTube. Like, I'm a super fan of those things. I think leading yourself is so important, but I think there has to be this mindset shift that, you know, comfort isn't the goal. And really, I learned that in labor. That's a big part of what I teach in Labor Without Fear, is that comfort isn't the goal. Sometimes we need to run right through the middle of the hard, of the pain, and not run from that. But when we take it on and we just run right into the heart of it, we can transform. And so here's an example of what that might look like. So for me, for so many years, the morning was hard. You know, I had all these littles and I was like, everybody's wanting something from me. I have this dirty house. I don't have a rhythm for anything. And I just like couldn't wait to strap all of my kids in the car, go through the Starbucks drive-through and check them into the YMCA. And listen, I would still do that today. It's a great thing to do. But the problem was I was doing it because it was too hard. I was running from the situation instead of leaning in and being like, my kids need to be trained. They need to be disciplined. I need to clean my house. So the reason I was running to the Y was not because I necessarily wanted to work out. You know, I was using that as my time for myself. And sometimes I sat there and read my Bible and did, you know, things that were filling my cup. And I'm not saying those things were bad. Hear me. What I'm saying is the heart of what I was doing was I was running from an uncomfortable situation where I needed to be training my kids. I needed to be getting a flow down at the house. I needed to be doing laundry. I needed to be doing some cleaning. It would have been fine to do that every once in a while, but every day, you know, I was really just not wanting to deal with how hard motherhood felt. The second thing I would say, whatever comes out of you in motherhood was already there. So let me explain. When I became a mom, I discovered like, I'm really angry. Like, where is this coming from? I was not an angry person before. Be quiet, going out the door. Doggone it. The best analogy I heard, imagine there's a glass sitting on the counter and it's full of clear water and that glass gets bumped. And when it gets bumped, it just all of a sudden the sediment at the bottom just swirls up and all of a sudden it doesn't look clear at all anymore. It looks really murky. That's what motherhood or really an uncomfortable situation can do to us, is it bumps our glass and then all this stuff that was at the bottom of our heart just gets swirled up and then we're like, ugh. But it's not like motherhood made me angry. I was an angry person before. And now I've been working through, okay, why? Why am I an angry person? What's down in there that I need to deal with? And so whatever comes out in motherhood, maybe it's selfishness or it's anger or it's fear. That's a really common one because that's cloaked in love. But whatever you're struggling with, it was already there. Motherhood is just hard sometimes, and so it bumps the glass. Tackle that issue, go to the root of the issue, but don't blame motherhood. I think there's a really common thing in culture where it's like, grab your glass of wine and complain about your kids and all those things. Like, motherhood is your issue in life. But really, you had that issue. Motherhood's just the like thing that's bringing it out. It was already there to begin with. Okay, the third thing I would say is that motherhood can 100% transform you into the woman you've always wanted to be. If you surrender to the process, there can be an amazing amount of growth. I'm telling you, so much wonderful growth. And one quote I really love, I don't have a clue who said it, but it's change is inevitable, growth is optional. Your life is going to change as a mom, and that's a good thing. Better than you can even imagine, even if you love your life right now. But you growing through motherhood is 100% your choice. You have to surrender to the growth, to this almost this stepping up into what you were created to be. As a woman, your body was made to mother. And so if God has blessed you with a baby in your womb or a new baby by your side, like, you are stepping up into your calling like never before. And this is a really amazing, like, fire me up kind of thing. So what I want to say to you is lean in, surrender to the hard, like, let God transform you through motherhood. These little people have so much to teach us. I like to say that my children are honestly the best teachers I've ever had. Better than any class or book I could have read or podcast. Like, if my kids, they honestly teach me how to be more childlike, which, you know, God says is very admirable to be like the children. And so I hope that this just fires you up for motherhood. Like, if you're about to become a mom, or you just became a mom, or maybe you need to be reminded of why motherhood is so beautiful. It really is. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's amazing if you can let it be. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you'll tap the thumbs up. That really helps other women find this channel. It's a small channel, but I pray that it's just going to be growing, and so other women can learn to lead themselves, which is what I'm all about here at Girl Teach Me. And I'll see you again in the next video.
Generation to generation, passed down through every age, there's a story of a savior whose love will never change. All creation will bow before him, every tongue will praise his name.